NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
So that's why people are focusing on the nuclear technology, because we, as Thailand, try to aim toward the zero carbon emission in the near future. If the government say okay and green light with this project, this nuclear power plant project, then we as a regulatory body have to do our best to regulate for the safety of the people and environment.
Welcome to Thailand Today. In this episode, we discuss nuclear power plant technology, a clean energy innovation that is shaping global sustainability, including Thailand. Stay tuned. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us what kind of power plants which are currently being used in Thailand?
Okay, so the power plants in use in Thailand right now, we have the hydro, which is use the water to turn on the generators, and also the gas, natural gas, and also the coal fire plants. I think those are three basic plants that we are using in Thailand right now.
Right. One of the technologies which are really much in discussion is nuclear power plant. Are there any nuclear power plant in Thailand?
No, currently no in Thailand, but we have a small research reactor, which is sitting actually behind us, and its application is mainly used for isotope production and other research activities.
Is there a plan that nuclear power plants will be built in Thailand?
There's a plan, which will be incorporate into the draft of the power development plan. I think it's going to come out either this year or hopefully early next year.
Right.
So, and in that plan, we're gonna have a 300 megawatt SMR, which is I'll explain later what SMR is, in two sites. So one site with 300 megawatt SMR and another site also with a 300 megawatt SMR.
Right.
Yes.
So what is SMR?
SMR is basically a nuclear power plant. As the name implies, is small. SMR stands for small modular reactor. So as the name implies, first it's small. So compared to a traditional nuclear power plant, which is like 1,000 megawatt in size, but this one is SMR is small, not more than 300 megawatt. So the size is about 1/3 of the traditional nuclear power plant. And the other keyword is modular. So in the traditional nuclear power plant, we have like one big plant at one site. But for the modular reactor, if you can imagine, it's like Lego pieces. So all the pieces are fabricated from the factory, and then we kind of put them on site and then just try build on that. Compared to the traditional one, we just use cement, put on the iron, the bar, and then try to build up from the scratch on site. But compared to the SMR, which is modular in nature, is we just use the Lego piece. Just imagine Lego piece and then build up the block and then.
So it's easier to build.
It's easier to build. So first one is small and it's modular, so it's easier to build, and the cost is comparatively lower than the traditional nuclear power plant.
What about in terms of carbon footprint?
The carbon footprint, the large one and small one are the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, they're not emitting any carbon.
Right.
Yes, but so that's why people are focusing on the nuclear technology, because we, as Thailand, try to aim toward the zero carbon emission in the near future. So people are kind of, as you may call it, crazy about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now there is growing interest in the whole world for SMR technology, right? What kind of factors have led to this phenomenon?
Basically, the first one is the reliability, because the nuclear technology is pretty much much more reliable than solar or the wind, that you have to wait for the wind to come up or the sun to come up in order to extract the energy. But for the nuclear energy, it's like 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days per year. So it's on all the time unless you shut it down. And the next one is the cost. As I mentioned earlier, the small modular reactors are basically it's pretty much cheaper to build and to maybe to operate also compared to the big large nuclear power plant. That factor also playing because, as I mentioned, it's modular, so you can build one unit, second unit, third unit, and then you can connect it together. While the unit 1 is already finished, and then you're building unit 2, the unit 1 can generate some money in order to finance the second unit. If you compare with the big large nuclear power plant, you have to wait until the whole plant is finished before earning the money. So that's why it's cost competitive than if you compare to the large one.
Right.
And third one we already mentioned is carbon. So there's zero carbon emission. But one may argue that, hey, during the operation there's no carbon emission. But when you are at the, the first or the head of the cycle, when you try to extract the uranium or thorium in order to use it at a nuclear fuel, then of course there's some carbon over there because it's basically just factories in order to manufacture those nuclear fuel. But we're talking about the operation. The operation is absolutely there's no carbon emission.
Are there any other disadvantages?
Disadvantages. The first one is technology, because it's a new technology. I will not say it's new, but it's relatively new in the design. So people are not sure or not feel like so confident that okay, this country like Thailand is going to be the first of its kind to be built in Thailand. People kind of, are you sure? Are you sure about that? So it's a kind of wait and see game. Who's going to build the SMR first compared to the traditional one, which is like proven technology already.
Right.
So people are more comfortable with that. But again, we are talking about nuclear in Thailand. The second factor is public opposition. People say, oh no, not in my backyard.
Right.
I don't want it in my backyard, but you can build anywhere, but not in my backyard.
So in a way, we are not that ready yet.
In a way, the public, I think, is the number one factor right now in Thailand. Not even for the nuclear power plant, even the research reactor. They're kind of afraid that is it going to be the same thing? Is it going to be like Fukushima again? Or is it going to be like Chernobyl again?
Right.
Something like that. So the public trust is a key in the nuclear business.
Right. When you say this technology is relatively new, which countries have already implemented?
The first one is Russia.
Right.
Russia has like floating type. I think there's like they put on the reactor on the boat, and then like 35 megawatt each. So it's total is 70 megawatts. So it's generate. Those two reactors generate electricity for like small city, small town in the northeastern part of the Russia, like really up top near the North Pole. So the second country that I know of is China. China is building the Linglong 1 and almost finished, and I think it's gonna become online either this year or next year. And I think the third one is Argentina. I think the name is Carem 1 or something. So they are building it, not finished yet. and it's like 10 megawatt or something
Right.
for the reactor.
Right.
Yes.
And how have these projects performed?
People are, as I mentioned, it's like wait and see game. So for the Russia type, they're kind of selling the idea of floating reactors, which we have some designs like floating type that Thai companies are interested in, and they can use in like industrial park because they already have the port to load in the coal, and then they're gonna use those ports to park in these floating type reactors and then connect the electricity to the factories or any grid that they want. So, and for China, I think if it becomes online next year, other countries will visit and then see how it's going, and then they're gonna either buy it or think it's too big or not, how you call it, feasible for the country. So other than that, all the designs are still on the paper, not being built. So we will not see anything in like actual plans or factories yet.
Imagine a land where every month brings a new celebration, a new adventure. Welcome to Thailand, where vibrant festivals and events await you across 55 provinces in all 5 regions. Indulge in the culinary delights of the amazing food festival, marvel at the illuminated artistry of Visit 5 regions, and immerse yourself in the cultural spectacle of the amazing Muay Thai experience. Each event is a gateway to the unique traditions and flavors of Thailand, offering unforgettable experiences that will leave you longing for more. Join us in Thailand, where every month is a celebration and every visit is a new story waiting to be told.
If you want to experience a variety of foods, come here to Thailand, where the art of food transcends taste. Experience the fiery Massaman curry, the zesty Tom Yum Goong, and the refreshing crunch of Somtam. Celebrated worldwide, Thai cuisine is a symphony of spicy, sour, sweet, and salty, crafted to perfection. And the flavors of the food, you will also experience Thai culture through a variety of dishes that maintain the unique characteristics of different regions in Thailand. Begin your journey to experience unforgettable culinary adventures here in Thailand. Explore sports tourism in Thailand, where tradition and thrill unite. Immerse yourself in Muay Thai, the art of 8 limbs, and witness the power in historic Bangkok stadiums. Experience the agility of Sepak Takraw, reflecting Thailand's athletic spirit. Beyond these, Thailand's vibrant sports scene, from surfing to marathon, awaits your participation. Discover the passion and culture of Thailand through its cherished sports. Your adventure begins here.
Welcome to Thailand, a premier destination where business seamlessly intertwines with world-class leisure. With direct flights from major cities worldwide, your next corporate event is just a step away. Host your conferences in Bangkok's cutting-edge venues, offering unparalleled facilities and services. Reward your team with relaxation on Phuket's world-renowned beaches, providing the perfect backdrop for rejuvenation. And don't forget to visit Chiang Mai, ranked among the top 5 mountain destinations in Asia, where majestic peaks and a rich cultural heritage await to captivate every traveler. This season, elevate your business journey. Choose Thailand, where every season is the perfect season for MICE.
Are there risks or concerns that have been raised among those countries?
The risks are just like the large power plant. So the first one is reactive waste. What are you going to do with reactive waste? The spent nuclear fuel that come out from those power plant. How are you dealing with that? And second one is the accident. Are you sure that if it's small, it will not have any accident or incident associated with the kind of smallness they may possess. But for me, I think because the new design or new technology, they use the passive system. The passives mean they don't require human interaction or human intervention. If you remember, in case of Fukushima, because the tsunami kind of caused the damage of those emergency power. So everything shut down is called like a blackout. Okay, so they don't have any cooling for the nuclear core. So that's why when the nuclear core get hotter, the core melts, and then all the reactive waste or reactive substances, come down, and then it causes a problem. But for the SMR, they kind of boast that we have the passive system, so there's no need for human intervention. The Fukushima accident will not happen with the SMR.
Right.
So,
Does Thailand have a plan to use these technologies? If we could one day adopt the nuclear power plant first.
I think the nuclear power plant, if they're going to be built in Thailand, the first one is going to be SMR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of the passive system that have like shows a stringent safety than the previous version, than the previous models of the large traditional nuclear power plants, and also the cost, because it's relatively cheaper to build the SMR, and also it's reliable in terms of electricity generation or the energy, especially the heat that can be fed to the factory or any other use or any other applications.
Right. Mostly now Thailand relies on domestic energy or imported.
I may not be the best position to answer that, but
Yeah.
I think Thailand import like 70%. 70% of natural gas is used in generating electricity, and most of the natural gas got imported from other countries like Myanmar or Malaysia. If you recall the incident like way back years ago, that when Myanmar turned off the gas production of gas, and then the EGAT has to generate electricity like in emergency, and then they cause flooding. So that's called the electricity security. So we don't have any energy security at all. So if you think like that, maybe nuclear is a good option to help Thailand for the energy security. As you may know, right now we have like geopolitical tension, and it costs like higher price in traditional fuel like gas or oil. So all those two, apart from the higher price, they also generate carbon.
Right.
When you burn it to generate electricity or energy.
Right.
So So that's why they it's an important factor to consider nuclear for that.
Right. Does government have a plan to really consider nuclear power plant?
As I mentioned earlier, there's a plan to incorporate that into the draft of the nuclear power development plan, which maybe come out this year or next year, and SMR is one of the options in that plan. Yes.
Right. And does Thailand currently have plans or legislation in place to support this technology?
Actually, we have. We have the Nuclear Energy for Peace Act of 2016.
Right.
And basically that act lays out all the foundation of all the measures that can regulate a nuclear power plant. But one thing that we lack, or Thailand lacks, is Nuclear and Radiation Liability Act, and we are working on that. So basically, the Nuclear Liability Act is to ensure that in case of nuclear accident happen, we have compensation for everyone, or any environment or the belongings of other people that got damaged from the nuclear accident. Because apart from Thailand, we also have Cambodia is talking about having nuclear power plant. Also Singapore, Indonesia, and Philippines. Philippines I think it's going to be the first one in ASEAN to have a nuclear power plant, because they're going to start up their mothball nuclear power plant. It's called Bataan, and they are working to restart.
Right.
On that.
So most of neighboring countries are working on it.
Most, yeah. Also, Myanmar is considering is thinking about having a nuclear power plant in the country.
So the keyword is to change public opinion.
The keyword is to educate them and have them think thoroughly, like the advantages and disadvantages of the nuclear power plant. As the Office of Tom for Peace is a regulatory body, we are in no position to promote that. Okay, it's good to have a nuclear power plant in Thailand,
Right.
but if the government say okay and green light with this project, this nuclear power plant project, then we as a regulatory body have to do our best to regulate for the safety of the people and environment. Yeah.
Right. Are there any limitations or challenges in building it?
First one is the technology, because it's new. Even though I say it's the same principle as the previous traditional bigger one, but because of they are small in nature and the scaling, so people are still not comfortable to be the first one is being built. So it's first of its kind. That's not okay. So in Thailand, we're gonna wait and see some other countries having them first before we follow. And the second one is the cost, the construction cost. Even though they have been saying that the cost of the SMR is cheaper, but because there's relatively few countries having it, so we don't know yet what the actual cost of each unit of the SMR will be. So
Right.
that's I think that those are two variables, and the third important one is public opposition.
Right.
Yeah, to
Well, let's say if one day it's adopted,
Okay.
what kind of measures does the Office of Atoms for Peace have in place to safeguard the public and the environment from this technology, from the impacts of this
all right.
technology?
So the first one is transparency. So we're gonna talk with the public and show them how we regulate a nuclear power plant or a SMR. They can question us anytime. They can send in the comments of, okay, I don't agree how you regulate this this power plant like this, which you should have some more like stringent measures or some more strict measures to regulate such power plant. we're okay with that. That's called transparent. So it's two-way communication with the public and us. And also, we're gonna do the public outreach to educate them on the basic knowledge of the nuclear technology, to make them understand it's not a ghost, even though you don't see it, then you're afraid.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to really understand the technology in the basic principle that you how you call it, get the gist of the technology, how it works, how it's going to affect you. And the third important one is in case of emergency, we have the emergency center here at the Office of Come for Peace. So we can monitor if anything happen, incident, accidents, and then we have like a fast response team to go out and manage those incident or accident. And then we kind of prepare to have the people who are living surrounding the vicinity of the power plant to get maybe we call it drill to get practice when something happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but in case something happens, so people know what to do. Yes.
As an expert in energy, how do you see Thailand, let's say, in the next 10 years, if we keep using the same sources of energy, imported, for example, and not having change at all?
So, actually, I'm not in the position to answer that, but I'll
just in your opinion. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So the first one is we will not reach the zero carbon that we try really hard to do. So and the second one is the energy security. What if there's no gas coming out from Myanmar or from Malaysia, and then we have to rely on relatively few resources that we have right now. And also the price, the cost of the electricity that people are complaining about. Okay, can you do like 350 baht a unit, something like that? Maybe if you have more options in how you call that, the varieties of the sources of energy, they may help us lower the cost down. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And finally, how would you address public concerns and build trust regarding the future use of nuclear energy in Thailand?
So we have to try our best. If the project, the SMR project, got green light by the government, then we will try our best to do the two-way communication. Because in our act, we're gonna have the public hearing at the start of the licensing process. I forgot to mention that the act, we do the step-by-step licensing.
Right.
So the first one is the site license, and then they have to select a site and apply for a license that the site is okay to build a nuclear power plant. And then in that process, we gonna have public hearing. It's required by law to gather the public opinion from the people who living surrounding the site. That's what they are concerned, what they are thinking about, what they are afraid of. Then we take that into account when we considering to issue a license. After the site license, we have the construction license and also operation license, and finally the commissioning license. So we call it from cradle to grave, from the birth of the nuclear power plant to the demolition of the nuclear power plant. So we cover everything in this act. And as I told you, there's only one missing is the Nuclear Liability Act, that to make sure that if something happens, and I hope that something will not happen, that everyone will get compensated.
Right. Well, let's hope for a positive outcome.
I hope so.
Thank you for your time again. ขอบคุณค่ะ That's all for Thailand Today this week. We see you again next week. สวัสดีค่ะ